Imagine you're an amateur baseball player, a young athlete with a promising future. If you were suddenly forced into a wheelchair, unable to care for yourself, how far would you go for a chance to walk again? How desperate would you have to be to risk experimental procedures in foreign countries? Here now is Joanne Smith, host of CBC's Moving On, with the story of the Cure Chasers.
I just want what every young girl wants, you know? You want to grow up, get married, have a couple kids, and just live happily ever after.
Like most of us, 21-year-old Shannon Deering dreams about what could be.
You all right? Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Sometimes I'll have dreams. It's like the wheelchair is there, but I get up and I can walk around out of it. Or like I won't be in a wheelchair, but I still need an elevator to go up and down. I've had that happen in my dream. But usually in all my dreams, I'm walking either with the wheelchair at my side or without it. So maybe that's a sign of things to come.
Just 2 years ago, the young woman from Port Perry, Ontario, was a budding amateur athlete on a baseball scholarship at a Florida university.
These are just a collection of the medals and photographs that I've gotten over the years. My jersey's up there, number 87. These pictures behind me, they're from when we went to BC for the Canada Cup. And I really was getting into it, and I had a dream of going to the Olympics one year.
These days, Shannon would consider herself lucky if she could just bathe herself, instead of having a nurse do it for her.
Like, I'd pretty much just have to sit there and she'll wash my hair and everything and wash my body and all that. I'm starting to do a little bit more by myself, like trying to, but it takes so long. For the most part, the nurses do it.
A car accident shattered Shannon's body and her life. She was en route to a movie with her younger sister and some friends. The friends walked away. Shannon hasn't walked since. And if that's not bad enough, there's another cruel twist. Another passenger didn't walk away. Shannon's younger sister, Erica.
A nurse came in and I asked her straight out, I said, am I ever going to walk again? And she said, no, probably not. And I just looked at my dad and I just started to cry. I didn't believe her at the time. I kept saying, this isn't forever. I'm going to get up and walk again. I'm going to prove them wrong.
Erica Deering was only 16.
And I have it all Hawaiian in here and I have a mural on my wall of the beach because the beach is my favorite place in the world. So a couple people came and painted this for me, and I love it. And then before the accident, my dream was to go to California and surf, but I never got the chance to do that.
Today, age 18, the surfer girl is challenged by daily living.
There's a nurse here 24/7.
Alrighty.
I just put whatever I'm holding in between, usually my first and second finger, and then a lot of the time I'll have to use 2 hands because I'm not strong enough to just do it with one, but that's how I write and hold most things. Because I can't use my fingers.
The Deering sisters have nearly identical spinal cord injuries. Both are paralyzed, both are quadriplegics, and both are desperate to change that. So desperate, they've decided to become human guinea pigs, to undergo a potentially dangerous experimental procedure no doctor will perform here in Canada.
You can't just sit around going, well, what if they come up with a cure in 5 years? What if they come up with a cure in 60 years? I'll be too old to care. Yeah.
The sisters have lived with their father, Tony, ever since their parents divorced when they were young. Right after the accident, he quit his job as a mechanic, took charge of everything, and made it his full-time occupation to find a treatment that could heal his daughters. A treatment doctors in Canada said didn't exist.
Just started finding out everything I possibly could about quadriplegics, paraplegics, any information possible, what operations were available, if any.
He found something in China, an experimental spinal operation being performed by a doctor who doesn't claim it's a fix, but does claim it leads to neurological improvements. That was good enough to convince Tony Deering, who convinced his daughters.
Well, obviously everybody wants the miracle. Oh, we're going to get up and walk again. Ain't happening. I mean, that's not what I'm expecting to happen. So what would be really good would be to get like the full use of my arms back.
Here at Toronto Western Hospital, world-renowned neurologist Dr. Charles Tatter dismisses so-called cures that have never proven themselves in clinical trials as little more than voodoo dressed up as science, something doctors have seen before.
Unfortunately, at this point, there is strong evidence that we are dealing with another shark cartilage fiasco. And before the shark cartilage, it was enzymes from Russia.
Dr. Tatter warns that the spinal operation the Deerings have chosen, which involves transplanting foreign cells into the spinal column, could make their injuries worse, or even kill them.
The risks of causing infections, of causing hemorrhages, especially when they're injected directly into the cord, that some of the surviving cord tissue might be damaged, that the injected cells could become a source of scarring or could become a source of cyst formation.
But for two desperate young women, the benefits outweigh the risks.
Well, the way I look at it is, why not? What do we have to lose? I mean, we can't even cross our fingers now, so what's it gonna do? Like, I'll lose the ability to go like this.
Well, I just look at it and think it's pretty much our only chance of regaining any movement back. So I'm willing to put that and put my life on the line for the chance to be able to move something that I can't move anymore.
What if a miracle actually did happen?
Miracles cost money. Money the Deering family doesn't have. So Tony Deering has worked tirelessly to get it, generating lots of publicity, organizing fundraisers, and appealing for donations. It will cost more than $120,000 for the sisters' treatments and related expenses. And it seems everyone who hears about the sisters' story wants to help. These aren't just tickets to a dance. They're tickets to a dream. And everyone is buying.
Like, I don't do any of the work with my legs.
Getting ready for a cure is hard work. Shannon and Erica spend half their days working out in their home gym, preparing their broken bodies for a better future. Physiotherapist Lorraine Speckens has worked with Shannon and Erica since the day they came home from hospital. She's become a trusted friend. And it is this trusted friend who, at the 11th hour, managed to do something that doctors had not been able to do. Finally get through to the family about the dangers of what they were planning.
I attended a spinal cord injury conference in Toronto. I heard a lot of the top neurologists and neurosurgeons speak. A lot of them commented about surgery in China, which the girls were scheduled to attend. What I heard was very scary, and I came back and shared that information with the girls and indicated to them that I really had some concerns that they might come back not only not making any improvements, but actually come back worse off than when they had left.
The sisters had known about the risks all along. It's not new information. But hearing it from Lorraine made all the difference in the world. Now they were scared.
I think I spent pretty much the whole night crying, and I would just listen to music. We were supposed to be leaving in like 2 weeks, I think it was, and we have to decide whether or not we're going to go, and then if we don't go, we don't know when we're going to be able to get surgery, but if we do go, then one of us could end up with meningitis. It was just like probably the biggest decision I've ever had to make in my entire life, because like our whole future was riding on that decision.
It was pretty devastating. Like, we didn't really know what to do. We didn't know, well, whether we should just go and risk it, or if we should stand back and wait for something else. It was just complete and total confusion. Like, it was, my mind was just going every which way.
When we come back, what will the Deerings do now? The Deering sisters have had all their dreams pinned on an experimental spinal therapy in China, on the hope it could repair their shattered lives. Then suddenly, at the last minute, they decided it was too dangerous and pulled out. But their dream didn't die, only this particular treatment.
Dad right away started researching more options, and he said, that's not it, we're not going to stop there, you know. We're going to find something else that we can get that could be better.
We've done all this fundraising, we've got all this stuff going on, and I don't know, it's almost like you don't want to just cancel everything and start over. It's hard to explain.
Do you almost feel obligated in a way?
In a way, yeah.
Tony Deering remembered reading a news story about a passing acquaintance who was taking a chance on an experimental therapy. 47-year-old Cheryl Paget of Mississauga injured her spinal cord in a horse riding accident 3 years ago.
I very quickly learned, though, in Canada, the attitude is, here's your wheelchair, learn to have a good life in it, don't expect to get better. I wasn't buying into it. I thought that I will give it everything I've got. I will drink snake's brew if I need to, if that will give me a chance of improving.
She discovered a therapy being tried in China which involves multiple infusions of stem cells from umbilical cord blood. Baker Biotech charges nearly $20,000 per patient and claims it's had success in treating over 1,000 people, but has done no clinical trials, offers no proof, and no guarantees. Instead, it offers personal testimonials, like this one from a Florida patient.
But I couldn't draw them in like that, draw them back, which is a big improvement.
After talking with Paget, Tony Deering decided to switch his daughters to this procedure, hoping it would be better and safer than the one he had originally picked.
You haven't harvested any.
Like many scientists, neurologist Dr. Charles Tatter is optimistic about the promise that stem cells may offer people with spinal cord injuries. Someday, but not now.
Stem cells are an extremely compelling concept to try to apply to patients, because the stem cells are capable of reforming tissue, of regrowing tissue. Yes, it's promising, but that's all it is.
Cheryl Paget had a different view. She saw herself as a pioneer and headed off to China. 1 week later, she had her first of 5 stem cell infusions.
I now have a little bit of control of my legs.
And a few days after that, started reporting what she believed were improvements.
We just learned this right this second.
All documented by the Baker company providing her treatments.
Let's try that with the right leg, see if I can.
Despite her injury, Cheryl Paget has always had some ability to move her legs, so it's hard to know if this video shows any improvement. There is no proof, nothing with which to compare this demonstration, no independent assessment.
Get the leg right up and over.
Oh my God.
But Paget's video gives Shannon and Erica new hope.
Pretty cool.
It's amazing. It's so much more than I was expecting.
Yeah, so I'm pleased.
Well, I have seen patients do those things without going to China. That in a certain position, a certain mindset, a certain day, patients can show things that they can't do on other days.
Seeing the video of Paget moving her legs doesn't impress Dr. Tatter in the slightest.
I see zero there that makes me think she's had any scientifically valid recovery of function. Zero.
The amount of rehab that I get in the...
And is the stem cell procedure really any safer than the first one the Deerings pulled out of?
The potential for harm is significant. For example, will those cells grow into cancer cells? We don't really know that. It hasn't been done long enough. So imagine if those young women got tumors up and down their spinal cord if the stem cells are injected into the spinal fluid, for example.
For a second time, the Deering family must face the possibility that the experimental procedure their father has picked is not nearly as benign as they imagined.
I'm very scared, but I'm more scared that if we don't do something, that before it gets to the point that it's acceptable or proven, or there's clinical trials that the girls could be part of in Canada or the US, that the deterioration in bone loss will make any procedure in the future somewhat redundant. Whatever happens with the girls, and people may disagree, but I'm the girl's dad. If something bad happens to them, it's going to come back to me.
I don't know, we just saw this video and we're like, I'm still extremely excited about going for surgery. It's just like, I try not to think about the risks involved, but then I think about what if something bad happens to Shannon, and
Dude, it's gonna be fine.
I wasn't even scared before.
Don't be scared now.
Just the thought that it could be even more dangerous than the original
Oh,
surgery.
who knows, Bill? That's why I'm like, stay away from the computer, whatever, don't research it. Whatever, if it's gonna happen, it happens. And so I don't want to be like this for much longer anyways. It's starting to piss me off.
Initially, all I could do...
But in the end, what they think they see with their eyes, Cheryl Paget's apparent miracle, wins out over anything they hear with their ears about the dangers.
Thanks.
With their minds made up and no turning back, Tony Deering decides to shut down any further talk about medical risks around his daughters. He tells physiotherapist Lorraine Speckens to keep any new worries she may have to herself. And when Dr. Tatter offers to examine the sisters beforehand and again afterwards to assess the outcome, their father agrees, as long as Dr. Tatter doesn't talk to Shannon and Erica about his concerns.
We would like to be absolutely sure if something beneficial happens.
Fair enough.
Fair enough?
Yeah.
This examination won't qualify as a clinical trial. There are only 2 patients, no comparison subjects, no way to eliminate any variables that can skew the results. But it will at least provide some objective benchmarks against which to measure any changes that occur, good or bad.
What happens if you go to China, all the way to China, you spend all the money and nothing happens?
Then we just keep on trying. We look for different options. Hopefully things get better. But I do know, like, if things go worse, if our quality of life gets any worse than what it is right now, you're not going to want to be around me. I'm not going to be a happy camper. Okay, so all the kits are done.
The trip is just days away, and Shannon and Erica are now focused on the long and incredibly difficult journey that lies ahead. They will soon face more than 20 hours in the air, then 4 weeks of painful therapy in a foreign hospital. In their dreams, it will be worth it.
Ever since the accident, I've dreamt every night, and almost every time that I dream, I'm walking and our life's just like it used to be, or like we've gone through this but we're just walking. And the few times that I have dreamt and we're in wheelchairs, before the dream ends, we have started walking.
On this day, hope has wings. Fear is stowed away with the luggage. The Deering sisters are flying to China on their quest to heal. Until science finds a cure, the cure chasers will keep searching and searching. For The National, I'm Joanne Smith.
In the months ahead, Joanne will check in with Shannon and Erica to ask them about their treatment in China and follow up on their progress. We'll keep you posted.